Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Network. It is Friday, May 13th, a couple days before the Oregon primary, a couple days before the Kentucky primary. And I'm here with Monte Jarvis, who is Bernie Sanders' state director in Oregon. Monte, talk to me first about Oregon. Not many people don't know it's one of the only states that is exclusively mail-in ballot, where you get the ballot in the mail. So how does that kind of factor into turnout, and has your campaign seen a good amount of returns yet on the mail-in?
Yeah, so on April 26th was the last day to register. It was a closed primary, so we got like nearly 84,000 people got registered as a Democrat for this election specifically, and we assume many of those registered as Democrats because of Bernie Sanders. And ballots started being mailed out on the 27th of April, and so like I got my ballot. I live in Portland. I got my ballot on the 28th of April, so I was able to vote right away. And so obviously the election is nearly 3 weeks long here. We're entering into our last full 4 days coming up. And so we've just been doing the same thing you do on GOTV, calling people, door knocking, going to places, telling people to turn in their ballots. The county elections office or official drop sites have to receive them by 8 p.m. on May 17th. And so we're trying to get the word out. There was an early group of folks, mainly older folks, who sent in their ballots right away. And then there's been this kind of lull, a little bit of a lull, which of course makes us all really nervous. And then we're hoping for a big spike here at the end with the younger folks who are going to finally get their ballots in. So we're hoping to get them, let them know to turn them in. They can drop them by our offices. They can take them to an official drop site or the county elections offices. Now, the U.S. Postal Service told us that they can't guarantee delivery anymore at this point. So folks shouldn't put them in the mail anymore because we want to make sure their vote counts. And so in order to ensure that, we're asking them to drop them off. And if they drop them off here at our office, we'll take them in every day, or the county elections or official drop site.
So for people not really paying attention, I don't want to be, presumptuous, but maybe younger people who kind of figure it out day of. How do they know where their drop sites are? How do they know all that information?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. They can give us a call or call their county elections office. And we made a simple shortened URL, bernie.to/counties, bernie.to/counties. They can find their county elections office, give them a call, find out the nearest drop site. The state also has a drop site locator. It doesn't work the greatest, right? I just plugged in an address and nothing came up. I plugged in my home address, it was fine, but the address I plugged in for our office here, it showed nothing. So, calling or, certainly going in that Dropbox locator can help, but it's almost better to call.
Okay. And, I haven't seen many polls in Oregon. The only one I saw was recent. It actually had Hillary Clinton up quite a lot.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me. I think of Oregon as one of the most progressive, liberal states in the country. So talk to me about, where you guys see the campaign, and are you expecting big turnout? Not just turnout's the wrong word, but a big vote, not just from young people, but older demographics as well, who might be more pro Bernie in this state than other states.
Yeah. Yeah, that poll was certainly surprising to all of us. What I take from that is really a call, a reminder that this is not locked up. We got to do everything we can to get these ballots in. The real poll that matters is these ballots getting into the county offices. That'll determine the outcome. That poll is just a poll. And so what we want to do is really take this election seriously. We've taken it seriously all along. We got here early to get folks registered, and now we're getting those ballots in. So, we feel good about the support here, but until that translates into this expression of democracy by voting and not just, going to a rally or whatever, that's all good and that's fun. But that needs to translate into this expression of democracy by voting. Right. Once we do all that, I think we'll have a pretty good night. Where turnout is good for us, we do well.
And talk to me about Oregon, because we know Portland is one of the major hubs for young progressives, young liberals. But you see in Indiana and West Virginia, a lot of the themes Senator Sanders struck were offshoring of jobs, how trade has kind of decimated manufacturing. What's some of the local issues in Oregon that might come into play this election?
Yeah, I think, the environment, climate change is a big one here. Recently, there was this attempt to get LNG kind of a site over on the Columbia River, and that was recently stopped by folks here. And so there's some really good momentum here trying to stop sort of the use of fossil fuels. And so climate change is a really big issue here locally. There was recently there's been an issue of a company who has had some leaks of some type of gases coming out. And so people in Southeast Portland, right in the hub of the most progressive area in the city, are freaking out about the contaminants there in the air. And so I think those issues and Senator Sanders' stance on, being honest about climate change and where we're at and trying to stop putting a tax on carbon and other emissions and those kinds of things resonate with voters here, as well as money in politics. I mean, that's kind of big everywhere, but it really resonates here in Oregon in terms of getting big money out of politics. And and certainly the minimum wage is an issue as well, $15 minimum wage. And that also resonates. There's been attempts to do that statewide here.
It's interesting because obviously cable news, television news, a lot of media sites have essentially declared Hillary Clinton the nominee now for weeks. And you see the coverage on TV. I wouldn't say that it was very much about money in politics, but at least more than usual because of Bernie Sanders bringing that in. But now that they've decided, because of Secretary Clinton's very large lead, it's essentially her versus Trump. And I only see on TV news now a focus on Trump, a focus on the crazy statements he's made, the Muslim ban, all of this. And money in politics, not so much. It's almost like the powers that be in the corporate media are kind of happy that they don't have to talk about it as much. Are you worried that because the way the media has portrayed it, that corruptive nature of money in politics is kind of being tossed to the side a little in media?
Well, I think corporate media and the billionaires and millionaires have wanted us out of this race all along, and because we tell the truth about what's going on in this country and around the world around income inequality and big money in politics and things like that. And so, am I worried? We're eyes on our prize here is getting ballots in, and so I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, but I know they want us.
I don't mean, are you worried about Oregon? I just mean in general, because this is core to Senator Sanders, this is core to you. I unfortunately have to watch a lot of cable news to know what we're dealing with, and I just see the narrative shifting a little bit away from that because they've declared her the winner, essentially.
Yeah. And it's really unfortunate because we're still here, we're still going strong, and we still want to do everything we can to win and still fight for the nomination for the President of the United States. And so that's what we're aiming to do here. We have a piece of that puzzle here in Oregon, and we want to make that piece of the puzzle the best it can be for the Sanders campaign and for Bernie and moving forward into the states yet to come.
And can you just give me a little info, because I don't really know Portland, I don't know Oregon, but I've heard over the last few years Portland has really transformed into one of these centers for young progressivism. You have San Francisco is obviously a big one. I hear Seattle is developing. What about Oregon and Portland specifically has kind of born a lot more young professionals, young progressives making their homes there?
Well, I think it's true. I mean, I hear stats, I don't know how true this is, 1,000 people moving here a week. And so that's a lot of people. Certainly, if you look around, if you walk Hawthorne or Division or Alberta streets at night, there's a lot of young people out. And so I think it is transforming it. There's been a lot of talk that I've heard about, the same sort of problems in San Francisco, where all the sort of more wealthy younger folks moving in, driving rent prices up, and driving some folks out. And so there's a lot of concern here at the same time for that kind of thing. And so, I don't know what to think about exactly. I just hope the young people turn in their ballots at the end of the day. I just hope that in the next 4 days, one expression that they can do to sort of stand up to the system is to turn in their ballots. Then I hope they do other things. But that's the first one we need to do over the next few days.
So, so basically, young people that are going to watching this interview right now, right after, turn off Netflix for 20 minutes, find out where your thing is.
Shut the video game off. Fill out the oval for Bernie. Put it in the envelope. Sign that envelope, and then you can drop it off at our office or drop site or a county elections office.
Yeah, and I just want to ask you bigger picture, because I've been on the campaign trail since December. Been to, I can't even count how many Bernie rallies. The last one I was at in Indiana, and what I'm seeing out of him in Oregon, he seems like there's a new energy. I mean, obviously he's had energy, but it seems like he almost is, kind of rallying for his life here, specifically in Indiana. I've never heard him speak so loudly, not in vocal cords, but just boisterous of his message. Do you think there's something in particular that's, as of late, has made him kind of more energized?
Well, I think, fighting against all odds, this whole campaign has helped with that. And I think we're at that stage here probably where, it's all or nothing right now. And that the senator was just here Tuesday in Salem, and that crowd was raucous. I mean, it was pumping in the armory there in Salem. I had been to a few rallies, and it was the most fun and energized rally I've seen, and he was spot on. And so it was a really good momentum leading into the final week. And so, I think Senator Sanders is energized and up for the fight, and we're going all the way.
And my last question, obviously Oregon is your purview, but you hear the Democratic establishment right now. It's almost like they don't want, I don't believe your lying eyes. Poll after poll is coming out that Hillary Clinton is either up 1 point, she's losing in some battleground states to Donald Trump. They're saying, oh, Senator Sanders polls better because he hasn't been attacked. All I've seen for last year is an attack on him. What do you think of that?
Well, exactly. Senator Sanders polls much better than Hillary against Trump in all the polls I've seen. And so that is the sure bet way to beat Donald Trump, is to make Senator Sanders the nominee for President of the United States on the Democratic side. It's just the only sure bet. And so, we got to make that happen.
And shameless plug here. Young Turks is going to be doing a fan meetup at your headquarters, primary night. It's up on Portland Meetup. If you want to join, I think we're capping it out at around $250. Young Turks isn't dropping a dime on this, so there's no money exchanging hands here. But you guys are nice enough to let us, use that space kind of as a primary watch party, but also meet and greet with the Young Turks fans. So look forward to seeing you guys there.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I can't wait. It's going to be a good night.
Thanks, Monte. Good luck Tuesday.